Hello? Hold on one sec. Alright, can you guys hear me? I am live and I'm standing outside in a torrential downpour because it kicked me off. Um, for those of you who are coming back into the fold, I just wanted to talk to you guys. You're gonna see not anything fishy for a minute. I'm gonna be outside where I have a signal through my cell phone because our internet does not have the bandwidth right now to hold on to any signal. So apparently, everybody who works in the tech industry, well, just everybody in general, is at home in Seattle tonight, and it's windy, rainy, crappy outside, and so they're watching Netflix. And now, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll wait out here for a minute. Gotta love Friday night streaming. That's right. So we'll stay out here for a sec. We'll start chatting, and then we'll take it off. Yeah, is this thing on? It sure is. And then we'll start chatting. I'm just not using up the bandwidth by being in the dark and we're outside. We'll go back inside in a moment, but I wanted to at least uh, pardon myself from disappearing and answer some questions so that you guys can hear me. So it's a podcast for a minute, and then we'll try to take it inside. But I live on the second floor of 3, and so I may get cut off from you. UG Aquatics. How's it going, buddy? Yeah, the internet just on the weekends just is a bummer. So if you guys are just looking at, like right now, you're looking at the bed of my truck, and I'm standing under the eave of my house. So hopefully I have the best uh, reception on my cell phone here, but not the best. Like the video stream won't take up a lot of data because it's just black. All right, so we'll answer some questions and then we'll try to go inside. I'll probably lose you and I'll have to say goodnight. I'll have to make another video about the trends of 2020 if that happens. But we'll give it a shot. So let's while people are finding their way back here, let's answer some questions. I don't know why it boots me off and won't let me restart though. That drives me nuts. Okay. So questions. Peat pellets. Peat pellets will definitely help lower your pH. It's very cichlids 23 for your apistos. Catappa leaves always great. Apistos technically live in South America. Some people want to stick with their biotopes, and so maybe you'll stick with some wood. Uh, you know, but really, if you get catappa leaves and like Malaysian driftwood or bogwood, that really takes down the pH. Ian Atkins, that is a great question, my friend, about the nature videos and foraging. I would love to. I wonder how I can tie it in with fish. That's a tough one. I I think that uh I think that yeah, don't add crushed coral. That's gonna raise your TDS and raise your hardness. Now, TDS and hardness are different than acidity. So you could still, in theory, you probably wouldn't. You could still have an acidic tank that had a high TDS, like a bunch of coral and a bunch of leaves, and there's not enough free carbon or calcium to bond and get rid of that acidity. Generally, carbon and calcium are buffers in our aquarium, and so like CO2 or carbon tablets or carbon filters, that drops our tank about 0.5%, usually about the size that they have, not percent, 0.5. So if you have it 7 out of the tap, you'll probably get 6.5 by running a charcoal filter in a properly sized filter, or by putting a pound per 10 gallons in the substrate of crushed coral. But if you do that, it's going to raise the TDS. Now, you can also have TDS raised by other things. There's other trace chemicals and things you can add that will increase that, including fertilizers and things like that. Some of those things are actually dissolved, so they're not dissolved solids, as we say, but they're dissolved. So it's pitch black out here now, and it's just raining sheets on me, sheets of rain. No lightning tonight. Nope, it's 45 degrees, so no lightning. UG Aquatics, you have some plants for me. Oh boy, I'm excited. I'd like to do more of that this year, more plant trading. I love my rare plants. I'm bummed that I just nuked a couple of the tanks, but I wanted to show you guys in that first video, I didn't kill all my fish. The vast majority of my fish are okay. I just killed some of my favorite new ones and a couple favorite old ones that really bummed me out. And a lot of grow outs that, I mean, if you had to say, like, I'm losing fish, 100 live bear fry is not the worst thing ever. You know, it's sad. It's sad to watch them in pain too, but it's not the same as losing, you know, I'd rather lose 100 guppies than one old pleco that's been growing, and you can see, you know, it's just ulcers all over it and stuff. The guppies seem to get ick. They get little white spots on them. They die quickly, and that's that, you know. But some of the bigger fish really fall apart, and it's just tragic. So, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, the other way you can lower it is you can get, like, Brightwell soil. Mix that in with your soil. But any clay is going to be somewhat inert, so don't go with like the clay pellet substrates, but you can go with like ADA Amazonia or whatever brand you like, Eco Complete, Carib Sea, anything that has nitrates in it and things like that. An active substrate is going to help you bring down that pH, make it a little more acidic, because it is decomposing organic matter. That's what plants crave. They want those nitrites, nitrates, and ammonia. Now, it's a fine balance of having enough bacteria to take care of that so your fish don't get too much of it. That is very sweet, very kind of you, the albino bristlenose pleco offer. I still have a good number, so I'll let you know. The sad thing is that I just had this grandfather of the line that's like an F3 from the original Green Dragon plecos, and that was just a bummer. He was a piece of history, and he could have lived another 15 years easily. So that made me really sad. All right, so I'm gonna start transitioning into talking a little bit about, everyone who's flipping to this channel is probably like, what is going on? Why would I watch this crap? But we'll go back inside. I might lose you. If I lose you, I'm sorry. Have a happy new year. Thank you for the support. Those of you who've stuck with the channel, who share the videos, who are on the Patreon. It means so much to me. You guys on Patreon are very quiet. Please get a hold of me and let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to learn. This is about learning together, building community together. That's why I love seeing the projects that people are doing, like on the Facebook group that we have. It's awesome to see when, you know, somebody the other day was just building like a whole sculpted, like, it looked like maybe chicken wire and cement or plaster of Paris. I don't know exactly, but like a whole rock hardscape background, which was just awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, so Tristan, you switched to 20-gallon, your 20-gallon to Eco Complete. It does great with the plants, but so light that plants are easily uprooted for the first month or two. Yeah, that's totally true. You can use weights, or you can use, at first if you want, you can use a sand topper or a fluorite, you know, get some black fluorite and put like an inch of it on there. And that will, I mean, it'll all get mixed up eventually, but the sand for half an inch or an inch, that can really help. And then as you gravel vac and as time goes on and animals, fish or shrimp or whatever, nuzzle through it, the finer particles will work their way to the bottom, and the bigger ones will stay up top. So that sand cap will invert if you work in the tank or move things much. If you don't move things at all and your fish aren't digging fish or catfish or gudgeons or cribs or cories or anything like that, then you can leave a sand cap. Actually, you just want to make sure you have something like Malaysian trumpet snails, or you yourself gravel vac once in a while to really mix that substrate up. They're finding now in unofficial studies, but studies that people like Corey from Aquarium Co-op, he's in my town, Bob, Joel, a lot of Corvus Oskin, all these people that I chat with and that are in the scene, been learning and chatting and talking, and we kind of think that sulfur gas thing, yeah, it plays a part. It could definitely make fish sicker if they're already really sick, but it's probably not going to kill a healthy tank. It's not the best if you get a big release of sulfur gas at night when the CO2 is already high, but it's probably not as big of a fear as a lot of people online have made it out to be. There's always uh, uh, there is always, hey Bill, are always little gases coming out from rivers and lakes. Granted, they have much more water flow than your tank does, most likely, but fish are used to that evolutionarily, to having some sulfur, some methane, CO2, carbon dioxide, monoxide, nitrogen, all those things. All right, guys, what do you say? Should we try going inside again? I think we'll try it. We'll try it, and then we'll kick off the trends, if I can stick with you. All right. Boy, that light came on, and it was like a light from above. Let's see if we can keep you. I'm gonna be sad if I leave you guys again. I'm sorry if this is really poor quality filming. I don't know how it's coming through to you, but let's get in here. All right. I'll try to fire it back up if I lose you. Last time it didn't want to let me fire it back up, but finally it did. So as for trends, let's talk trends. I think the biggest trend we're gonna see is still continuing towards the naturescapes, towards here's a good example right here. This was at Petco. Now, easily I looked at this and I was like, look how teeny those starts are. Like, you would lose those in most tanks, unless you have a nano tank, I guess. And, for $12, is that a good deal? But then, take a look at these plants that they're offering. These are probably all backwards to you, huh? Yes. Well, I'll read them off. So, these are at big box stores as of now, so check them out. Bucephalandra species Sedeku Giant Blue. Now, Sekadao, sorry, an island down there. There's also South Sekadao or Sekadao. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. It's an Indonesian island. And then there's Sekadao Bukit Bintang, Bucephalandra Limondeo Purple, Anubias Microcarpea Minima, Alternanthera renicii Mini Variegated, Ludwigia X Arcuata Hybrid, Cryptocorn Undulatus Red. Those are great. Those are great plants. Rotala Wallachia, I don't know how that will do as a culture, tissue culture. Some of these don't do the best, but I know like Cryptocore undulata does really well in my tanks. Some people with harder water might find that certain things do better. Rotala rotundifolia, Rotala sunset, Anubias aphazelli, Anubias cophifolia, mini gold coin, Microcarpea minima. I mean, there's some really good, like these would be rare plants to find in most cases, um, which is really cool that now they're uh, in in stores around the country. Granted, I bought one of these 2 months ago, and I did a little review on it. If you want to check it out, and the plants that I bought all melted away, and I think only 2 of the 4 survived. But this pack supposedly has the Sekadao Bukit Bitang, which the Sekadao is. They're not labeling these right. They're not Bucephalandras. They're actually, or Buche Philandra, um, how you're supposed to say it. Um, but they are a homolomena. Homolomena is what the plant really is. But they're calling them Bucephalandras probably because they just look so similar. But they are rhizome plants that come from Borneo, Sulawesi, or Sulawesi, however you want to say that, and many islands down in the area of Southeast Asia. Then it also came with Bucephalandra Giant Blue. It just cracks me up that the Giant Blue is here, and it's I don't know. How big is giant? It's not too giant. It's like 3 leaves. But I mean, that'll start. It's a very slow growing plant, but that'll start. And then also we've got Rotala rotundifolia. So they throw one in there that's just like an everyday common plant, but nothing wrong with that. I mean, this tank over here next to me has a bunch of that in it, and it's great for little fish, little shrimp, fry, for like little fry to grow up in. Um, Bill Weaver, let's see here. Never done plants because I've done African cichlids forever, and yeah, they do tear up plants. Um, yeah, cichlids 23. There are a lot of cichlids that you can mix with plants. I mean, you could get like Shelleys. The only problem is some of the cichlids like high, they like very basic water, and that makes it hard plant wise to have many options. But there are some, and then there's also, Anubias, there's Java Fern, there's more and more plants coming out all the time. Yeah, Pistos love plants. All the dwarf cichlids out of West Africa, the cribs, angelfish love them. So yeah. There are so many pistos being discovered too. That new Opalensis blue panda variety is really pretty. Let's see here. Any mini South American cichlids will deal with it fine. And Tran, what pleco can live in Hillstream Aquarium? Pretty much all your plecos, as long as it's warm enough. A lot of plecos can deal well with running water. The ones I would keep away from it maybe would be the ones like your Peclotia ones, like your zebra plecos, your leopard frog plecos, any of the ones that are just straight carnivores. But all your wood-loving, algae-loving, mulm and debris-eating plecos, they probably, like the Loricariidae, the bristlenoses, they can deal with moving water and everything like that. It's just the temperature that you'd want to worry about there. I mean, you're not going to have a flow that's so crazy in your tank that you're like blasting them away, I wouldn't assume. But yeah. So I think another trend in 2020 is going to be that shrimp tanks and aquariums, I think we're going to see more and more of that. I think we're going to see um, more of, like I just showed you, the tissue cultures. That's not going anywhere. I think they need to work out some kinks. They're either going to work out the kinks or they're going to give up. That's the thing. I think we're going to see more 3D printed stuff, more Etsy sellers, more and like Etsy plants. That's starting to happen because Facebook crackdown. So it's got to go somewhere. Getgills.com, Aquabid, those are two places I've seen it. Local clubs, I'm sure somebody is going to put together, a forum, a Reddit page, something to remedy this sort of thing that's going on. But I think the thing we're really going to see is the smaller tanks. They 70% of what the industry sells in the fish and aquarium industry is to new time aquarists, and something like 25% of them will be returning and then buying other stuff. And so uh, more than half of people give up, and it's usually at the algae phase. When they get to the algae phase, or they feel like, okay, I can only have this many fish in here and plastic plants and it's just boring, the fish don't do anything. And so much of that can be remedied by informing yourself of what's an interesting fish. Like, there are plenty of fish that I have that I observe all the time, and I'm still learning new things they do, especially like cichlids and the little critters that take care of their young. Shrimp, they're all such dynamic little creatures. So I'm gonna feed right now my shrimp tank so you guys can check that out and see my panda loaches while we're chatting. Also, I'll flip this around because look who's getting big. Look who's a big boy or girl. We'll find out in one sec here. This is one of my. This would be one of the. Let's see, is it a boy or a girl? Oh, it's hard to tell. It could be. It could still be a boy. You see, there's some markings on it. This is a scarlet batis. Can't tell if it's a boy or a girl yet. And let's see. I think it's a girl. Yeah, boys usually by this stage have some color on their fin. Beyond that, we've got the shrimp in here. They'll all start coming up in a sec when I put food out. But we've also got other fry coming to life. This tank's really dirty and moldy. These are Daniel fry that I just decided to raise up recently. They're living with some blue dream coals also. But I'm over here. We're talking about trends. And the reason I want to talk about trends, sorry, this is going to be blurry for a sec while I get the food out. But so the trend is going to be, I think, this is a 5-gallon tank. Granted, I don't tell people to do this if they're new to it. Ashendren, hello, welcome. Will I do a discus tank? I would if I had the money. I really would. Right now, with the hits I took, I put up a questionnaire for you guys. And I wanted to know, Preston John, hello, buddy. Griffin Fish Room. Yeah, Wet Spot has incredible selection of every cichlid you could ever imagine. Every woodcat. I mean, man, they've just got everything. Let's see here. So what I was gonna say, Goose Not Maverick, hello, how's it going? It is going okay. I was just showing folks right here, we've got some Daniel babies cruising through. Hold on. I've got this camera's a little sensitive. I know you guys probably all feel like you're gonna throw up right about now. In the 5-gallon Mohm tank that is just bleh. Yeah, there there's some sick endlers still in there, but they don't seem to be spreading it. So I think they're sick from being stressed out. Uh, in here we've got my Blue Dream shrimp, and I think these guys will be a trend in 2020 still. There's more and more types of shrimp coming in, more and more species of shrimp. Neocaridina traditionally have been the easiest, along with Amano and the lesser known Malawas and things like that. But these guys are just really great. Oh, here comes the panda loaches. These guys are still my favorite colony by far. So one of the questions I had on my channel, hey, come on in, everybody. They just smell the food. Yep. See, once one of them knows about it, these guys are clowns. Once one of them knows there's food, the other ones all say, hey, guys, come check this out. And all of a sudden, they just start coming out from the seams, just like from all over the place. And they love piling on each other. I don't know why, but they totally do. These are some of the most fun fish I've ever had to watch them grow. They look so different when they're babies. They're just plain stripes. And it's been a hard nut to crack trying to breed them. That's a nut that a lot of people have been trying to crack all over the world. This is their adult stage. I think they still look really cool. And they're still very small, you can see, compared to the Blue Dream shrimp. I mean, that's a baby Blue Dream up there. This tank stays very dirty with algae. So, pardon me that it's not super clean for your viewing pleasure, but it's about the critters that live in here, not about my needs to look at them necessarily, other than for their health. But I love these guys. I think that I think though that a lot of people are gonna start getting into oddball fish that are nanos. Look at how freaking cute they are. They're like little puppies. They stick their head up over the rocks. And none of this behavior comes out unless you have the water super aerated, you have little worms and grubs and stuff for them to eat. What I'm feeding them right now is spirulina algae, and for some reason it gets them all worked up. They don't necessarily eat the spirulina algae, but they get all worked up, and then they'll dig through the substrate and eat little worms and little mites and I don't know, whatever the little dots are. And then up here again, we've got the another scarlet batis. This looks like this will be a male. You see the blue hint on those front pectoral fins? Usually that is indicative of a male. Still young to tell, still would get eaten in a heartbeat if I put it back in with adults of anything. I mean, I can put it back in with scarlet batis, but I wouldn't do that. Here's another one right here. They're all kind of hanging out up in the top now because as these panda loaches come down and start playing and nibbling on stuff, they scare all the little bugs up to the top, and so you'll see these fish. These guys are just fun to watch too. I mean, any fish that has a baby is fun to watch. So, JH, how's it going, buddy? So good to see you in here. But I think small oddballs are gonna be a trend in 2020. I think they're too much fun. They're really interesting. Um, I think small oddballs that take care of their young. For me, these guys, I mean, they're steep. They're $30 a piece right now this year because they had a year that was very hard. But I can't have a cat or a dog in this apartment. And these guys, they don't eat any shrimp. They don't eat any of my baby shrimp. And the baby shrimp literally stand on them and it just jump around them. And they are just adorable. They're so derpy. I love them. Happy New Year's to you as well, Joseph. So good. to see that you are around and kicking on this new year, and that I'm sure you will be on to new adventures and new successes. It's been a good year. I saw Corey's prediction that a lot of us smaller YouTubers might be going out of business this year. Uh, I don't know. He could be right. I can see where he was coming from. A lot of people, myself included, we are torn with how many videos can we make, how much time can we put towards the hobby. When you make $1,000, like this is like from YouTube, you guys have seen I usually make about 300 plus Patreon off my account, but in that same vein, his point being, you can't live off that, especially in the cities and things these days. So I do think he's right that that will be a trend. We will lose some YouTubers, but in my mind, that's nothing new. It's either a hobby you love and you're gonna keep up with as long as you can. And for me, you guys know that I've had health issues, I've had family crisis, I've gotten married, all sorts of things. And when I can't do it, I just can't do it, and there's no videos for a little while. And yeah, I take a major hit on view and ranking and all that stuff, but it comes back. And I mean, the people who are interested, those of you who I consider truly my friends in real life, not just on the internet, you guys are all still around. I need to rehome a lot of these little koi buddies, but another fish that arguably you could probably keep in a 5 gallon. I think it would be mean. I'd put them in a 10. But some of the smaller half beaks, especially the females, the males get to wrestling, and then look how they eat. It's their lower jaw that opens, and let's see if we can watch it eat. Come on. So funny when they eat. But these guys are live bears like endlers or like guppies or mollies. They actually have babies inside of their belly that grow to fully operational battleships in their belly. This is a female here. Males have the big yellow flag and then some red or orange in this species. There's also the celebs or celebes, however you want to say it. I've heard both. And then here's a female. She's got this beautiful kind of mossy gunmetal seafoam. I don't know what to call it, like a turquoise silver color, and she's very quick. But some of them look downright famish. Like the males, they look like a weird fish, but they look like a pike or something. Whereas some of the females, like this gal up here, her belly, like the back of her belly, she looks like she's dying, like that, to be so skinny up there. It's just because she's not pregnant. And when not pregnant, they look really funny. But yeah. So the thing is, I wanted to kind of pick through here and show you guys the other critters and things going on in here. There's another female. Aren't they weird? But I don't want to use the same nets that I've used in the sick tanks. So I'm going to need to ask you guys, speaking of trends of 2020, what would you like to see me do with this? So I've got all this just crazy amounts of hornwort and red metallic corkscrew valve. I don't think I'm losing a whole lot of, I'm not going to be like just heartbroken over what I've lost plant-wise in here. So we probably will start anew. But what I could do is I could take 4 5-gallon tanks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, this way, and I could put them probably down lower here. Or I could keep 20 gallons. I could do an aquascape in a 20-gallon. I do love the layout of the 20-gallon. Um, I will probably be throwing away the heaters. I know that some people think that's crazy, but when you look at it, I got 2 years use out of these heaters, which isn't amazing, but I've had heaters blow up way before that. But look at all these little plastic areas and little alcoves and seams, uh, and just even the cord. I need to bleach or hydrogen peroxide all of that. Um, and then the question I have too is, do I keep one tank that's just chugging along, combine these two? These guys have been treated, but they're all now exposed to the Vibrio flesh-eating bacteria. So we've got a couple with ick still, and maybe one with columnaris, but it looks more like ick and then a slime coat condition. Uh, and they're all being treated right now properly, water changes, uh, and then all these meds right in here. So, and I've got gram-negative stuff to treat them for the Vibrio. I am bummed that I am losing these. Are clearly all low tech, but I'm bummed that I'm losing some of the plants in here, like the Thor's hammer. Java fern is just melting. The Val is totally just melting away. The duckweed is dying too. Finally, something kills duckweed. Uh, but yeah, the other tanks around here, everybody's looking good, feeling good, and I'm just curious. I put up a survey on the community site on the page about what you guys want me to do with those two shelves. I mean, I could go as far as doing, I know you get sick when I turn, I'm sorry guys. I could do this on all three of these, I could do a 5 for breeding and then a 10 that could have, half beaks here and endlers here or whatever. I like to keep my tanks heavy loaded but with plants. However, when I'm doing grow out tanks like this one up here, I'll use moss or hornwort, plants that don't need roots. Ironically, I just put Val in here 6 months ago, and it's still alive. It's still sucking up nitrates like no tomorrow, and it's held up all those guppies. I just have to vacuum the mulm every now and then, once a month or whatever, and do that. But I mean, I could also turn all of those places, all those tanks, into something more like this. And in these tanks, you know, I've been drawing from these tanks to build the tank upstairs and all that. But you can see there's some pretty cool pieces of wood and moss. This is Marimo moss ball moss that I had cut off and grafted onto some wood. And then we've got all the willow moss on here, plus just the algae. Man, I wish you guys didn't see all of the floating debris because that's like all I can see about this. And just moving that, look at all these shrimp that are just like, head for the hills. But I would love to breed more of these Samfongzi rasboras over here. Like to breed Phoenix rasboras, tetras. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking I might be taking a break on the live bears for a bit, other than the half beaks. Maybe get some goodieds. I want to get some pygmy sunfish. That's another one that I would like to get in here. I also noticed that this guy has ick. No idea why. Nothing has, except maybe my hand the other day, has been in here cross-contaminating. But maybe something's going down in here too. However, I do have to say the Phoenix rasboras, Mara rasboras, that's what their scientific name is. They do get the little ick spots frequently, and they just go away on their own. Same with chili rasboras, I've noticed. They don't seem to burrow deep and leave lesions and really kill them quickly, whereas other fish like gouramis or, Molly's platies guppies. Some of those fish, they'll kill them very short order. Pandagar is in here. All the baby erythromicrons are still in here growing out, so there's like a good 30 some of them still growing out in here in this 17 gallon. So those guys will need to go somewhere or get sold off. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think going with the new trends coming in, yeah, these new shelves will be something new. All right, I've been neglecting your comments and questions. Uh, let's get back to the show. Half beaks are on the bucket list. Well, they're only $6 on aquaticarts.com. I think they might even still have some. Bill, what is up, my buddy? Trying to get good starts on some fish and shrimp. Happy New Year's from the UK, says Kay Halliday. Yes, things are improving in the tanks. They really are. Looks like we've also got some fry in these tanks. They're not. They shouldn't be Endler fry or guppy fry. I'm wondering what they might be. They really do look like that, though. But there's no way that the female I moved a few days ago already had babies that well formed. I've got these pencil fish in here. I've always wanted them to breed, and they just never have. I'd love, and I've thought about it upstairs in the big tank. I thought about getting some coral pencil fish or more of these three-line red pencil fish, three-line coral pencil fish. Um, I don't know. It's like I love rainbow fish. I love all these different fish types, and half beaks and rainbow fish. Those go really well together. With the half beaks stay close to the top water usually. They like vegetation like this. This tank was a Hillstream tank for a while. You can see I had 1,000 gallons an hour turning over in this tank at one point with all the power heads. Let's see here. Cichlids 23. Where is the cheapest place online for good substrates? That's a hard one. Honestly, I will go to like chewy.com, which Petco owns. I'll wait till they have a sale and then I'll go to Petco and I'll be like, yo, hook me up with this sale. But honestly, I try to link for you guys in the description. Like in the description of this video, there should be a link to the cheaper prices I've found of substrate, and a lot of them are on Amazon. I mean, anybody could be on there. Aquatic Art sells fish through Amazon, and yes, Amazon takes a cut from them, but they take over that shipping cost, and so sometimes surprisingly you can get a big old heavy bag for cheaper on Amazon because Prime is going to cover shipping for free than you would walking into the store, and it's just a matter of some places do take a loss on certain products. It's odd. I think another big thing we need to talk about as a trend of 2020 that will be going on is that we are going to see we're going to see medication becoming hard to find for fish. The fish have been doing the pills and then going straight to the heroin. They're doing as the people do. No, I'm just kidding. Not funny. But people have actually been taking fish antibiotics, and that's sad. It says a lot about our country that people resort to that instead of paying the $100 to $300 bill just to see the doctor, let alone to get prescribed the medication and go to the pharmacy and get the medication and pay for your insurance. Sadly, I kind of understand how it could happen. And so people are buying fish antibiotics or stealing fish antibiotics. And now stores are saying, well, we're not veterinarians, so we don't want to deal with that. So here's some tea tree oil. And I am a big fan of treating things like if it's just ick, no big deal. Just turn the heat up. You can add a little bit of salt. Turn the heat up to 82.5 as long as they can handle it. Do some water changes and leave it there for about 3 weeks so that the eggs don't come back. Easy peasy. Now, things like columnaris, things like the flesh-eating bacterias, and some of the bad stuff, even just stuff like fin rot and velvet, those things can be cured by these medications, but they're becoming harder and harder to find. Petco no longer sells any antibiotics, and that's just a bummer. Just a bummer. So that's going to be another trend, and I don't know if more natural. Pardon me for saying like hippy dippy, but as I'm in a tie dye shirt and yeah, but there are a lot of. They haven't used the scientific method to prove that these things are medicine. There's a reason it's called alternative animal medicine, and that's because if you put a rock and a twig and a leaf into a pot and you boil it and it cures velvet or dropsy or whatever, that's not alternative medicine. That is medicine. If you do that and it's like a 50-50 shot of something gets better, maybe it doesn't, and the outcome's the same as if you did nothing, that's alternative medicine, which means placebo medicine. And on fish, that's not going to work. Anyways, I'm done with my rant. Yeah, let's see here. Woofoforus? I don't know how to say your name. I apologize. With the X, I'm like, Oaxaca is it what's in my mind, but is it Wafaforus or Chifoforus? I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. But Phosphorus? Whatever. Said things weren't much better in Mexico. We used to stock up on antibiotics or the years when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's rough. Chewy LTD, what is going down? What about Corden's ick attack? Isn't that a natural one? Yeah, well, ick is a lot of times those ick fixes, like eucalyptus is another one. Or tea tree oil. Yeah, those do have antimicrobial, antifungal properties. So does garlic. Garlic's great. I did a video on did Chinese fish keepers know the secret to treating fish, like way back when the channel was new. And it was they used to boil garlic and change their water out with boiled water that had garlic in it that had cooled down. And yeah, the garlic, feeding fish garlic, it helps their immune system. And the tea leaves they put in had tannins in them. But I mean, really, with tea leaves, tannins, salt baths, you can treat a majority of like minor stuff that way. But like worms, bad parasites, fin rot, and that sort of stuff, you need actual medication. But ick, that's one that you shouldn't need medication for unless your tank's just already in all sorts of disarray and you're just like, all right, fine, I got to treat this so I can find out what this is, you know. But really, if you have time, you just turn up the heat. It's pretty simple. Turn up the heat, put some tannins in, put some leaves in, give them their favorite food, give them live food. My favorite go-tos are, I like baby brine shrimp. I also like vinegar eels. I keep bottles of vinegar eels. Where are they? Can you guys see them? Oh, right there. Next to the tanks, and I just have a little shot glass with a screen on the bottom, and I just pour it out, and then plop it into the tanks. No biggie, easy peasy. I think the other thing that we're gonna see more of this year in 2020 like I said, the oddball things, the small nano things, that's not over yet. But I think we're gonna see more aquaculture. I think we're gonna see some gimmicky things like, maybe orb-shaped tanks, or like, how hamsters have like the little areas where they can crawl from section to section. I think we might get more of that with bettas and stuff like that, just because bettas are a big part of the industry. Um, Females traditionally supposedly make up half the market, but a lot of studies seem to show that the people who spend the most money tend to be 30 to 60-year-old males spend a lot of money each, like individually. And I think if there's something that we've been doing wrong as a hobby, to not be inclusive to all people, all genders, sexes, colors, and creed, um, I would hope and think that that's changing. I look at my stats on my channel, and it says that 75% of my viewers are male, and that really makes me sad. I wish it was 50, but maybe I'm just not relatable. Maybe I'm a big dillweed. I don't know. Whereas I've been on, like Rachel O'Leary, her stats are flipped. She's got 75% female, or Solid Gold Aquatics. Um, she same deal there. Um, but a lot of people are, uh, a lot of my most active friends on here, the people who comment the most, the people who are the most awesome, the most are female. Like Ginger, like the Zen Ginger, like number one animal lover. I can go on and on. Like Mary, so many of you guys that are just awesome, and guys too. But I'm just saying, I don't know. I think YouTube doesn't quite know. Uh, doesn't quite know like the truth about who's male and female sometimes. I think that a lot of people have marked themselves male in YouTubes that are female for some reason. I don't know why. They found that in a study though. Weird. Uh, yeah, Aquatic Haven, I'm really glad you caught me live too. You finally got your tanks 2 out of 8 all healthy and happy. Good. Um, Do Daphnia stay alive all year in Washington State? Yes, they sure can. They sure can stay alive all year. If they freeze, they need deep enough water and mud to go hibernate in. But in theory, yeah, they'll survive. We have 2 club members that have old hot tubs, and they use those for their Daphnia. I've thought about starting a Daphnia and Scud colony. If I did that to the shelf and put another tank in there, maybe that would be one where I would do that, or a bottle with live baby brine, or who knows? Who knows? The shadow knows. The thing is, it's going to cost a little bit of money, so there might be a slight delay on it. My wife and I are looking at buying a house. It's really exciting. It's scary. It seems like we'll never have enough money to do this thing, and oh my gosh, and especially after my lightning injury and all that. But rent is so high in Seattle. If you could afford whatever $2 to $3 in rent, which is what it is for a 2-bedroom in Seattle, then you might as well be paying a mortgage on that, right? So we shall see how that unfolds, but that could be another monkey wrench put in all of this. But as far as before all the death happened in those 3 aquariums, my plan had to be to redo this one, rescape it, trim everything back, maybe get some new plants from friends, trade. This one, totally redo it, maybe trim it all the way down, take all the plants out, lay them out in an afternoon, and literally take all the plants from both those tanks, put them all in a tarp on the floor in some some water, some Tupperware, and reshuffle what's where or trim up what's where, and then the next day plant it all. I don't know. But what temperature do I keep my angelfish at? I keep that tank, so I have the Corridora, Panda Corridors in there that are from the Matei River in Colombia, which is a little colder. And I've, over time, over generations of them, I've kept them in hotter and hotter and hotter water. I kept them in 68 to 72 originally, as per it says, but now they're at 78 and they seem to do fine. So like 78, 79 is where I keep that tank, because it's got Corys, it's got the angels. Yeah, I think we're gonna see. I think Corey's totally right from Aquarium Co-op that we're gonna see a lot less of the big monster fish in most of the country. We're gonna see more probably in Florida, Texas, areas where you can buy a lot of land still. We're gonna see more cutesy 3D printed stuff, like these shelves that hang off, more customizable pieces for your aquarium that I think will allow people to. I think Corey might be off on his guess during his stream of saying that paludariums, terrariums, that stuff is over and peaked. I think a lot of people really like the idea of having plants coming out of the back of their aquarium, or they like the idea of having a frog or a turtle, or some geckos above their tank. It's not a big stretch to see where I could have, just this middle shelf be a paludarium and have a chameleon, and then some killifish and I don't know, frogs or something. I don't know, dart frogs. So I think that'll continue at least another year, if not more. It is a pain to keep the humidity high, though. And in the places where that's not a pain, you can just have those things like on your porch, like geckos and stuff, like in the south. But yeah, so those are some of my guesses. I think we're going to be looking at more at like high protein, good quality food sources, things like that. I think we're going to have more independent companies bought up by bigger companies and then kind of hidden in, so we think they're small, but they're not. So I think those trends will continue. Here, I'm going to show you real quick. The angels are asleep. Here's the tank asleep at night, all lush and beautiful. Let's see here. I'll turn it on one more time for y'all. Look at all the Corys going crazy. And again, the Corys. There's our Venezuela Corys. And I'm hoping that my longfin bristlenose male, this guy, will buck up and actually lay some eggs soon. Also, we'll see when these angels start laying eggs and getting frisky, because this guy has grown a lot since I've gotten him. He's getting nice and thick. At first I thought it was for sure a male, and I still think that from the head, but it's sure getting wide and thick and chunky. Maybe it'll just be the alpha male. I don't know. But yeah, this tank I think we're going to have a lot of fun with. The Logonandra boldi. I think some of these other plants that we haven't seen in the hobby are going to be big in 2020. This one is another big one that's up and coming. The Persicaria Sao Paulo. I think that'll be big. And I think some of the ones that we've just overlooked, some of the like milfoils and things like that, the red milfoil or Myriocalum, things like that. I think some of the snails will be popular. More mystery snail. Honey, do I smell bad?
Yes.
Honey, what do you think the newest trend in 2020 for fish keeping will be?
Smaller tanks. Minimalism.
Other than in Seattle, where we're broke.
That's my answer. Minimalism.
Minimalism. So like Art Deco and or Bauhaus tanks. So just like plain straight line tanks, rimless. All right, you heard it there. I think we'll also see some of those weird orb tanks that are like perfect circles and stuff too. Leopard Pleco, I love you. All I wanted to do was to dance. So right there, that is a blue tetra, also known as a purple tetra. Very cool. I forget its Latin name. Wet Spot has those. Check it out. Red Godzilla little clippings. These are the size of the clippings you get from those packs at the place that I was saying. Petco? Is it Petco? Yeah, Petco. I think more morphs, albinos, as well as I think we'll see more leucistic black morphs too. We haven't seen a ton of those. A lot of times those historically have been seen as ugly, but I think that they're pretty and we might be seeing more of those. Look at how red he is. He has totally matched the female. He's doing that thing with his mouth, like maybe there are babies around that he's ready to pick up. I don't know. That or he has indigestion. But she's all turned up to the right color. That's the male, and he's that look at their colors, you guys. That is a special treat. You guys, nobody has seen this before because these are my own strain. Nobody has this strain. These are Lacunja Upper Falls mixed with the giant Pulcher Crebensis, and they are 3 generations in now, so they're basically big old Lacunjas, but they also have Bapindi in the 2nd generation. So they get this snakeskin pattern and then a leopard print pattern sometimes. And then the females get either pink, purple, or red in their belly. And then the males, this is the really weird part, the males are now more colorful than ever in this hybrid line. The males have this weird iridescent green all over, like blue or green, and then they've got bright salmon color pink, but only for like 15 minutes, and then it goes away. But they're fun, I think. And then Sergio's still going strong. For those of you curious, somebody said Sergio was a koi angelfish. He's not. Just shush your mouth. He's not a koi. Here's another male-female combo. They're going to flirt and go have fun and do their thing. And then these guys will probably get too big and only a different tank. Sorry about the water stains again. And then these are just odds and ends rescued from downstairs when I wasn't sure, like weird mixes I tried of guppies and things years ago. They've ended up in here. But this is another tank where, like, I love this tank, but I need to do some bushwhacking in here. I mean, look at the cribs just make a death, you know, a freaking cemetery of snail shells. Here's the bigger male. That's the big male leopard frog pleco. L130 L138 136. Man, I can't. No, that's not right. I'm forgetting. What am I forgetting? L140. I can't remember, guys. I'm gonna need your help. I can't remember the leopard frog pleco number. L138 maybe, but I can't remember for sure. There's the other leopard frog. Yeah, so I'm really hoping they do okay. This tank, if this tank went down and crashed, I would cry myself to sleep. I might quit for a little bit. I don't know. I keep my angelfish, like I said, at 78 to 80. 78 seems fine. Uh, there are mystery snails in the same rivers as pandas and also angels. I think 2020 will finally see ripariums, paludariums overtake aquariums as more popular in the hobby. I don't think that they're going to be more popular, but I definitely think they are going to be popular. Um, is that lightning and thunder, honey?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll just stormy out. Um, yeah, L134. Thank you guys. My brain is running away from me. It's sick of my mouth. So this is the most violent this tank ever gets. Is these barbs decide the albino tiger barbs, which they can't see as well because they're albino tiger barbs. Uh, Usually they chase each other, and I've got some really cool footage of them doing like a West Side Story duel where their lips are interlocked and they're spinning around in a circle, like trying to pull away from each other, and they create this little whirlpool eddy. It's it was nuts, but I'll have to make a video of it. It's just that you just hear the TV on in the background, and it's just out of the blue. But I like these dynamic tanks where you got different critters mating, different critters saying that's my territory, um, different critters like beached whales not eating any algae, even though there's plenty of algae to eat, even though I've fed you for 5 years. Sorry guys. Sometimes I get bitter at my Siamese algae eaters when they don't do anything. You can see that crib just attacked one of those clown loaches for coming into his little area. Um, there are two sets of paired off crib adults in this tank right now. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you rocking with me. We'll do some more trends, some more talking, some more updates specific to some of the sickness and the results that I get all of them back from the lab at University of Washington. If I can get those to my friend. And yeah, so thank you for joining me, guys. Oh, we got a super chat. Aquatic Haven, thank you so much. I've also got a pair of cribs all colored up, ready to start a family. I'm going to move them to their own 15-gallon. Can I add a pair of bristlenose? Um, you could, but I probably wouldn't in a 15-gallon. In a 20 long, I would say, of course. In a 15, if you do, just make sure that there's one that the cribs have established their territory and that it's not like dead smack in the middle. Like put a cave down or a stone with an overhang on far to one side, and if they do that, then you can put the pleco cave in. I mean, the plecos will be able to defend against the cribs, but I mean, you're talking a 6-inch fish at some points. If it's a big bristle nose that's strong, and the cribs likewise. These males here are up to 5 inches, also, and beefy. Now they don't have sharp teeth, but it's more of a stress issue. If you have long fin plecos, they could actually rip fins, but more often than not, it's just a stress issue. Whereas your bristlenose plecos can also smack a crib in the face pretty darn hard with their tail. It's surprising. I've seen, you wouldn't expect it, but they can do it. And I've actually had them flick me. They also have, most people forget that Corridorus and plecos, the vast majority of them have little spikes. They're catfish, and they've either got them in their pectoral fin area, or they've got them up kind of by their shoulder and on their dorsal fin, or right in the center of their dorsal fin. And they'll wiggle back and forth real fast, and they'll give it a 1-2 stab. So just be careful of that. But yeah, I mean, you can make it work if it's planted well, if the vegetation is nicely planted so that they're broken up. Some thick vegetation like Madagascar lace, or some of these sword plants, or Logonodrome boldi, Barclaya longifolia, any of the kind of broader leaf stuff, any of the Amazon sword ferns, that stuff will really help create a blocker of their site too, and stones. Remember that they don't need a cave like people always seem to say. They just need an area to that they can seal off. So like in the corner, like you could make an area like this, like it's simple as putting one rock down and another at an angle so that one can exit there, one can exit there. But they'll lay eggs here over and over. They'll lay eggs here over and over, and they get up. One just left right there through the mulm. See? Oh, right there. He's all colored up. Wow, he's beautiful right now too. Both sets of cribs are really looking beautiful today. Here's the odd man out who has nobody, and that's too bad for him. But the colorful cribs looking fine and dandy. Here he comes. See how he's different? See, he's got blue, yellow, and peach on his belly. No spots. That's what's so cool about this hybrid. And he doesn't have a stripe, so he's not like the Pulchers. So some of them have stripes, some of them don't. So I said I'm the only person who has this line in the world. I made up this monstrosity of a line. I like it when they don't have the lateral line on the side like that. This guy though, I do love how he's lighting up colorful. You guys can't see it anywhere as vivid as I can, but he's just, I've never ever seen male cribs turn this bright. Like he is yellow on top and just peach and pink below, with purple on that bottom of that tail fin, and then like flaming orange. And he's just, both of them are matching the females like there is no tomorrow. So the female will show off a color, and within 15 minutes, the males will reflect it back, which is really cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Muppet, thank you as well. Thanks for joining me on this stream. I know we kind of kept it casual. That's okay. Things are coming back in the fish room. Vote on the community tab what you think I should do. If we want to do some grow out tanks and just kind of keep it like it was, like we could do some Iwagumi aquascaping, or another jungle scape, or maybe some river rock like rounded scaping. Or we could do more shrimp tanks and have just shrimp, whatever you guys want. You say dance, and I say yes, yes, my master. How high should I dance? How high should I be when I dance? All right, guys. On that note, Sergio says goodbye. Right, Sergio? Come up to the top and say goodbye to everybody. Yes. Bye, guys. If you want to help support the rebuild of my fishy shelves, send your letters to Sergio, P.O. Box, the Fish Tank, Seattle. Man, he's really right in the light. Right, Sergio? He'll bite me, too. Right, Sergio? All right. Later, guys. Take care of your plants, your animals, the people around you, and of course yourself, so you can do the first two. If everyone does half of any of that, I think we're going to have an awesome life and an excellent world. My wife wants to get back to watching her Judy Garland show. Whoa! The wind just blew the door open. I'm blaming this ram skull. I think we're haunted, and I will talk to you guys later. Check out the Patreon and my t-shirts if you want to support things that way, because I shouldn't just get charity because I love my fish and my house is haunted and Sergio was begging. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Wow, what is going on?